So today we're just doing a quick troubleshooting video on how to get your furnace working if it's not. Like if your fan's not coming on or heat's not coming on. We wanted to do the top tech tips on how to get that thing fired up so you're warm at night. We want to, first thing, check your propane tanks. Make sure you have propane in the propane tanks. Make sure your propane valve is open. I usually like to grab a barbecue lighter and light my stove. Most campers have a 2-burner stove. Make sure both burners are working, then go ahead and shut those off. That way you have propane, you have propane flow. Next, I would go right to the thermostat. There's a swivel on most of the newer campers. The on and off is right at the top here. That'll click to the on position and then swivel that all the way over to the right, which is the warmest setting. Fan didn't come on. So if the fan doesn't come on, you want to make sure your power switch is on, which we have power because we have lights. And if the fan's still not coming on, usually it's a thermostat problem. So the quick, easy way to check that is kind of step by step. Make sure you have power, make sure you have propane, make sure your thermostat's working. You can simulate the function of this in one of two ways. You can, down here, there's usually a little plastic cover you can pull off with your fingers and touch this connection to the little knob. There's a little nipple right here, and just touch that there, and you're basically forcing the thermostat to tell the furnace to turn on. So if you touch that together and the furnace doesn't come on, then you can go to step B, take a little screwdriver, take one of these wires. You have a white wire and a blue wire. You can loosen this up real quick and take this wire or the other direction. Basically, you're jumping the wires. So you're going to take this wire and just touch it to the top wire here. What will happen is if the thermostat's bad and you touch this wire here to this wire, the furnace fan should come on immediately, and just hold it on there. Hold it for 30 seconds and see if the furnace fires up. So if you're not getting connection here, or you're not getting connection here, that'll tell you one of two things. If the furnace fan does not come on by touching this to that, thermostat's probably bad. If you're touching this wire to that wire and the furnace fan does come on, then almost 100% of the time you just need a new thermostat. Pretty quick and easy. 2 screws, 2 wires, take that off, put it back on, put the faceplate back on. We have a video on YouTube about that. So that's a quick way to troubleshoot the thermostat to see if that's working. So we've covered the thermostat. If your thermostat, you made connection, you touched those 2 wires together and the fan did not come on for the furnace, you have power, you got propane, and the thermostat's not doing anything when you're touching those 2 wires together, usually it's going to be a reset switch out here. So we've taken the screws out already. There's 8 screws, 4 for this little tube, 4 for the outside cover here. This is a little sticky sometimes, but it usually comes right off, just a foam seal. And then inside here is, each furnace is a little bit different location, but there's a reset switch right here. And you can only get to it from there. So what you'd want to do is turn that off and then maybe count to 20 and then turn it back on again. And it's right in there. So that should fire the furnace up. If it's an electrical issue, like thermostat's not working or reset switch has been clicked, just reset it, see if it fires up, and then go from there. Next step would be checking the sail switch and the blower tube inside. We've gone through a few other steps with reset switch and thermostat. If your fan is running and it sounds like the furnace is working, but it's not blowing out any hot air, it's not igniting, or you're not hearing any spark, the little tick, 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 clicking noise in there, I would probably suggest checking your sail switch, which is this little tiny piece right here. And it's in different locations on different furnaces, but it's usually just one little screw and 2 wires connected to it. This particular version, we have the front wire is the double wire. There's 2 wires on that little piece. The rear wire is just a single wire back here, just for make note so you can put them on the right terminals. now we're just going to take this little screw out of here. This is kind of a smaller tip screwdriver for a little small screw. Once that screw is out of there, just grab it. You can see the sail switch is actually coming out of there on its own. Just gently wiggle it, twist it, but be careful because you'll see in a moment when it comes out of there, the blade is delicate. It's pretty easy. So this little sail switch, what you want to do right in this area right here, there's lint, you'll get lint buildup in there, but this is on and off. So as your fan starts to run, this makes the connection, which allows the furnace to ignite. You'll hear the rapid burst of clicking, and then the furnace will fire up if everything's working right. So we like to make sure this is clean and everything's working correctly. Once that looks good, you can also check to see if your furnace is working by if you put this sail switch back in there and tighten it down and you're still not getting any ignition, what you can do is take your two blue wires, which is the sail switch connections, and pull one of these little connections back and physically touch these two wires together. At that point, what you're doing is you're bypassing the sail switch, and you should hear the furnace ignite and hot air start to come out. Just watch your hand because heat will come out of here. But this is a quick way just to test it to see if your sail switch is bad. So if you touch these together and the furnace starts and ignites, just means you need a new sail switch, which is probably a $20, $25 part, pretty easy. So more steps to check. There's just thermostat. We've checked propane, stove, outside you got sail switch, you got the reset switch. If you're not getting anything at that point, two things you can do to check to see, you need proper voltage. Your battery condition can't be too low. If the camper battery or batteries are too low, like 11.8, 11.7, 11.6, the furnace fan won't be spinning fast enough to make the sail switch connect. You won't get any spark, you won't get any ignition. So two things you can check. If you've eliminated your thermostat, you know you have propane, you reset your switch, you cleaned your sail switch. Common things, start the truck up for a moment and then take your furnace vent cover off here, which is also this little duct here. Set it down for a moment and set your thermostat again, turn the fan on, see if it fires up. If it fires up with your truck running and this vent cover off, then it's usually a low battery situation where the fan inside just not spinning fast enough to make the connection to tell it to start. If you checked all that other stuff, and especially if you're at high elevations, furnaces are rated 6,500 feet, I think, for perfect reliability. And after that, if you're at 10,000, 11,000, 12,000 feet, cold weather, batteries are usually a little lower, elevation, airflow mixture is changing. So give it everything you can to have best success. Thermostat's working, propane's working, sail switch is connecting, furnace covers off for a minute here, just to see if that thing will run, sound healthy, and see if it'll blow out some heat for you. And then you can put that back on and see how that does. And if you need to, if you're super high elevations, we don't usually recommend it, but some customers have taken this off for the night, this little ducting, when they're at high elevations, to allow just a little bit better airflow out of here. This is almost a flush fit here, so the heat's coming out pretty quickly and it's just going to come right out. So anything you can do to kind of align yourself for success, to have good heat at night, especially when you're at elevation, or if your batteries are a little lower or the temperature's really, really cold, heat is the best thing you can have for your camper. Stay warm.